First race of the weekend in the Prototype Winter Series. A familiar sight going into the first corner. Danny Soufi leading the way with championship a little bit on the mind. Unfortunately, a spin at the first corner. John Brownson having a little bit of an issue in the DKR Engineering Duquesne. Second and third place being held by Quentin Joseph there in the 87 CLX Motorsport car. Philip Lindbergh just ahead of him, but struggling a little bit there. Bit of a lock-up into turn 16. Plain sailing, however, for Danny Soufi, who set about building a lead. Of course, the pit stop handicap system meant that he did need to build himself a nice buffer, because the likes of this car, the CLX Motorsport machine, would be having a 30-second shorter pit stop. That is no small issue for Soufi, but that was a big issue for Quentin Joseph. A little bit of traction loss coming out of turn 50. It only takes a little to send these beastly LMP3 cars into a spin. John Brownson found his way alongside Wolfgang Peyer, and then unfortunately a collision between the two. Peyer sent into a spin, another spin for Brownson as well. Unfortunately, he was feeling a bit under the weather today, unfortunately, and contributed a little bit. Wolfgang Peyer came in, handed over to Matthias Bier-Jakobsen, and that was John Brownson getting out of the car to hand over to Lawrence Hur. Meanwhile, Danny Soufi came in towards the end of the pit window. No driver change, no relief for him, of course. Matthias Bier-Jakobsen rejoined the race just ahead of Lawrence Hur on the circuit. Great to see Bier-Jakobsen once again putting in a good performance. Of course, he won a shootout to get this seat with racing experience. The fact that he's able to go blow for blow with a driver like Lawrence Hur is very impressive for the young teenager. Philip Lindbergh found himself just ahead of the number one Ligier of Danny Soufi, and then he rather caught Danny out, stepping on the brakes going into turn 3. Lindbergh with a couple of issues in this race, a spin or two out there on the circuit. And then, of course, also, he missed the pit window. He was actually leading the race at the time of tripping up Danny Soufi, but he missed the pit window, had to serve a drive-through penalty, and he would end up at the rear of the field. Danny Soufi ended up, though, at the front of the pack once again in the Prototype Winter Series. A great result for him, once again, in Aragon.